Baz McCullum joins us out of Hyderabad. G'day, Baz. How you doing?
All right, lads. How's it? Very good, actually.
I bet it is very good, mate. I bet it's very good. What a way to turn around a test match, mate. I mean, for all those detractors of test cricket, just watch your blokes win over India and the Windies get up over the Aussies, and man, that is the magic of test cricket. How does it feel?
No, it feels good. Look, the boys were obviously, we're a little bit behind the eight ball for a fair bit of the game, but the belief never wavered. We've got a skipper who's got an incredible ability to bind the team together, and a unit which fully believes even in difficult conditions. We were able to overcome a very good Indian side, and we got a little bit of luck along the way as well, and ultimately we achieved what the skipper put down as under our current, regime, defined as our greatest test success so far. So yeah, it was really good, and we're obviously pleased to be now 1-0 up in a 5-match series.
It's unreal, Baz. It was Test match cricket as well and truly alive. There was 2 games simultaneous that were taking place, and I was switching back and forward watching them both all unfold, and the results that probably many never really predicted. But tell us about that belief throughout that match, particularly after that first innings when you rolled for 246 and then India put 420 on you, mate. What was said in the change rooms?
Yeah, we're pretty calm, to be honest, mate. We thought 240 odd was actually a pretty good score on that surface at that stage. I think the wicket it was a little bit tacky to start, so it turned a little bit more than during that stage, and then we felt that it sort of naturally slowed up a little bit, so batting became a little bit easier, and we were hopeful that that the wicket would then start to take some real bite later on, and I think it did. So we're content with 240 odd, and we had a couple of things go against us. Some tight calls and a little bit of luck didn't go our way when we bowled, but we kind of hung in there, and I thought the attitude was fantastic right the way through, and we were able to see one of the greatest innings I've ever seen in the subcontinent from an overseas player in Ollie Pope's 190 odd.
Yeah.
And then the guys chipped in around him, so it was really impressive from that point of view. And then obviously when we had our turn to bowl and try and bowl us to a test victory, the guys really stepped up. And young Tom Hartley, who's on debut and who's only played a handful of first class games and was probably a bit of a punt selection wise, but we saw something in him that we thought would work over there. And he's a tough character, and the way that the skipper handled him was quite remarkable. And he obviously bowled us to a test win. So, yeah, there's so many different emotions, for a period there we were obviously under the bat, and then to be able to come out on top, the guys have taken a lot of confidence, and we're really pleased last night, but also know that it is a long series, and, we've got some work to do, and India will bounce back strong, but we certainly celebrated last night.
You love seeing new names burst onto the scene. You got Samar Joseph over in the West Indies bowling some absolute heat, and they've got Hartley bowling for England, getting a test win. Just tell us about that selection. He's only played a handful of domestic cricket. Wow, very few, really, very inexperienced. What did you see, and what were you saying to him after that first 9 overs he bowled? I think he went for 68, 2 sixes in his first over against Yazmal, and mate, he was under the pump.
Yeah, like when we picked Tom, it was sort of people raised their eyebrows a little bit, but let's not forget, and I think this is quite a pertinent point, like Nathan Lyon, he only played, I think, a handful of first-class games and averaged 40 odd when he first got picked for Australia, and he's gone on to have a fabulous career. Like when you see guys that you think who are good enough, and who you think are going to suit the conditions, it's sort of horses for courses. So you got to back your judgment on things like that. And he was a guy who we saw a little bit of, and we thought he might be able to perform in conditions like this. And no one ever foresees 7 for 60 odd on debut or 9 for the match. You got 60 odd runs, a run out and a catch. Yeah. No one ever foresees that, but. Yeah, sometimes you got to be a little bit brave as well with selections, and if you like a character and you like their skill set and you think it's going to be suited to the conditions, then it's kind of an educated punt. So look, he was fantastic. I thought the way that the captain, Ben Stokes, the way he handled Tom Hartley in the first innings when he bowled him an extended spell, regardless of the fact that he was getting put under pressure by the Indian batters. I thought that was a real sign of leadership, and also it was a clear message to not just Tom but those that are around the squad that, you know, when we talk about freedom, we talk about taking the game on and trying to come in and make a difference. You're not going to be cast aside or taken out of the crease, taken off the crease. From, you know, the first sign of danger. So, you know, I thought it was a magnificent sort of decision by the skipper to do that, and I think, you know, it allowed Tom to feel like he belonged, and he knew what his role was. So, you know, it came up trumps in the end, but, you know, you got to have a bit of a punt sometimes, and this one came off.
It did indeed. What about Shoaib Bashir, mate? I mean, you know, we all know about the issues he had with a visa, and you know, there might be some political overtones to that given his Pakistani heritage. But he's back in the camp now. He'll be part of preparation for the second test. How's he feeling about things? And did that situation help gel the team even more?
Yeah, look, Bashir, he was obviously with us during our camp in Abu Dhabi, and he really impressed with his skill set. He fitted in seamlessly within the group, and he's a guy who's got an immense amount of enthusiasm, albeit at a young age, and pretty limited in his first class experience. But he, again, like Tom Hartley, he was a guy who we looked at and we thought he's got some skills which could assist us in these conditions. And you know, well, obviously the visa situation, that's just life, right? Like, sometimes that happens, and you know, everyone was doing everything that they could to try and resolve the situation. There's just some red tape you've got to cut through at times. So, you know, he's here now. He turned up yesterday. He turned up at the perfect time, really. When he arrived, the boys gave him a huge cheer, and he got to witness something pretty special with the fellas bowling us to a test win. So, look, he comes into calculations for the next test match. If the wickets continue to spin as much as what we saw in the first test, as the series goes on, look, we won't be afraid to play all spinners or a balance of what we've got. So, you know, he'll be excited. But it's great to have him here. He's a great kid, and he's got a infectious kind of personality, and it's nice to have him around us.
Vaz, what does the next couple of days look like? I'm just doing some reading here. Ravindra Jadeja's out. KL Rahul's ruled out of the second test. Does that change things up for your approach? And are you predicting anything different? I can't imagine that India will go anything away from a spinning wicket.
Yeah, I don't really know. We're sort of, and you know what I'm like. I like to, you know, we plan as if we'll live forever, but we'll live as if we'll die tomorrow sort of mentality. Like, we'll enjoy where we sit at the moment, and we'll just sort of lap up, you know, the great experiences we've had over the last few days. And tomorrow we'll travel through to Vizag, and once we get there, we'll start to turn our attention to that game and have a look at the conditions and make a call. You know, you're not going to get every call right, especially in conditions over here. It's hard to read some of these wickets, right? But we'll make a decision, and then we'll go quids in on trying to commit to that and see where we land. But look, obviously, you know, Jadeja and KL Rahul and also Virat Kohli, who's obviously not playing the next game as well. It's, you know, you want to play against the best, and you know, it's disappointing for the Indian side that those guys won't be available, but they've also got an incredible talent pool to pick from. So whoever comes in will be difficult. So we're going to make sure we do our homework on them.
Baz, you're obviously at the coalface in India. Yeah, they've gone from, you know, a day in looking like, oh, we're gonna walk this series, to all of a sudden missing three big players and being a test down going into the second test. Have you noticed a shift in the mood, particularly with the Indian media?
Yeah, I don't read anything like that, boys. Crikey, what's the point of that? My phone's on to answer your fella's call. Good. Send a message to my mates and my missus, and have a punt on the TAB. That's about it. Yeah?
SENZ. It's Kiwi for sport.